guests with us today. And as we go down the line, it's open time to speak for the next 15 minutes. And then we close that section of our meeting off. So Mary, would you like to start? Would you introduce yourself, please?
I'm very hard of hearing, so all I heard was my name.
Please introduce yourself, and do you have any questions for us?
My name's Mary Rogers. I've only lived here in Westborough for about a year, and I've just started getting active with the WSCS. In particular, I'm going to be working on the T this year, and we're trying to upgrade and make it glamorous and fun and attract a whole lot more people to come and visit us. I don't have any specific questions, no. Thank you, Linda.
Okay, thank you for coming.
Thanks, gentlemen.
Oh,
Sean, would you like to speak, please?
Sure.
Would you introduce yourself?
hi, Sean Keogh. I'm the new Select Board Liaison to the Council on Aging. Look forward to supporting the council. Shelby is moving on to another role to support another group, and so I'm taking her place, and I'm really excited to be here and looking forward to learning. Thank you very much.
Welcome. Thank you. Welcome aboard.
Bill Lennane, just a nosy liaison around town. Just wanted to get to know you. Love the new director.
I'm gonna put that in the minutes.
Everybody else does.
Patrick Welch, Select Board member as well. I'm here today just as an observer. Hadn't been to the Senior Center in a couple of weeks. Figured on a nice day just to come by and swing by and see everybody. So glad to be here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, that being covered, we will move forward with our meeting. We've done the audience, so have you all had an opportunity to read the minutes from the prior meeting on January 13th?
Yes. Make a motion to accept.
Second.
All those in favor? There we go. Thank you. Thank you, breakfast.
Alright. I'm taking notes while I do this. Alright.
Question, there was a special meeting, there was one item which
Yep,
was to,
we'll have
do we
those
need those?
for the next meeting.
Okay.
Alright, so my director's report, I don't know exactly what the format was previously. This is kind of the way that I'm used to sharing information. If this works for you all, great. If there's something that you feel you would like to be hearing or something that's normally reported that was not in this report, I'm happy to make some adjustments there. But with that being said, what I've prepared for us today is that March had an average daily attendance of 50 people. Now that's 50 people in this building. It does not, unfortunately, include those that are participating in classes at the community center that are senior center classes. We are looking for a way to better capture those folks, but for right now, that is just the people that are coming to this building. 108 volunteer hours were worked. The Westborough Senior Center had a total of 1,156 event swipe-ins. So that was how many times people came in. It could be that people were here for two different things in one day, but that was the total number of activities that people attended. And the Senior Center vans gave 482 rides. That is there and back. So the next page is what I've sort of got in the works, what I've spent my first month working on a little bit. The first thing is the WRTA and transportation. My hope is that we're a little bit further along by the May Council on Aging meeting and that we're in a place to have the WRTA attend the meeting and to give you guys more information than sort of what I have available now. But there are some tentative talks to make a van service switch to the WRTA starting July 1st. With that, we would keep the bus drivers that we have on staff. They would remain town employees. It would be a money-saving venture for the town. WRTA would take responsibility of the vans. So any service that was needed would go through the WRTA. That could be as simple as an oil change or as major as some sort of repair. They would also pay for the driver's hours as well as the gas used by the vans and the insurance for the vans. So that would be a really good opportunity. I think for me, the best part would be the extended service area. So we would then be able to transport people to medical appointments in Worcester as well as at Marlborough Hospital. And then for any reason, be it medical or recreational, we would be able to transport people to Southborough and Northborough and Shrewsbury. So that opens the shopping possibilities up quite a bit, as well as some of the medical appointment possibilities and some of the basics like haircuts or whatever else you might have an appointment for. And the curb-to-curb service would be maintained, so it would be the same rules as are currently in place, where we pick somebody up at their front door and we return them to their front door. We are working on the summer Tuesdays. Those are the concerts that happen every Tuesday night at the Senior Center throughout the summer. We are ironing out the final details for those programs, and as soon as we do, the calendar will be made available. I'm pretty confident that we will sell out of most of the activities. I think that Mary Ellen and I and Kristen have really worked to find some things that people would really be interested in. Council on Aging training, I have reached out to MCOA, which is the Mass Councils on Aging, and spoken to them a little bit about setting up a training for you all, where you could learn really what a Council on Aging is, but also to have some sort of guide and policy book for these meetings. So they do not have sort of a standard program. They would work to tailor it to Westborough. So I'm meeting with them on Wednesday, and hopefully in May I'll have a little bit more information, and then potentially in June they would be able to attend the meeting and do a training. So what are people asking for? This is in my first month. The major things that people have asked me for, so those are what I'm working on. People want more modern movies, trips to the casino, scenic trips, pickleball lessons, which I'm happy to say, I think we are in a place where we can start scheduling them. I think that we found the instructor, and we're just working on a 6 to 8 week program where you would pay the fee for the instructor and learn how to play pickleball. People are also looking for some more involvement with the town departments, specifically the library and recreation. I think it's just a priority for me to build a good relationship with those departments and to open our doors and invite them in. People are looking for art classes, educational programs, live music, restaurant-style lunches that are a little bit more made to order than what we're able to offer now. Shopping trips beyond what we offer, which should hopefully be taken care of by the WRTA switch. And also more of an effort to reach out to the over 55 housing in the area. That's the Del Webb condos at Chauncey, the Highlands, the Willows, etc. I am happy to report I am going to Del Webb tomorrow, and I met with the Highlands staff today. So hopefully that makes some good changes there. And these are just some of the programs that we're offering that are coming in the next couple of weeks or months. I don't have to go over all of them, but if you have any specific questions, I am happy to field those. Today was the first donuts with the director. I think we had somewhere around 30 or 35 people that came. That is something that I plan to continue monthly. I think it's really important for people to have an audience with the staff of the senior center, and to feel like there's a place to address their concerns or their comments. And I'm also really open to hearing from the people that come here what they're looking for, what they might want out of the senior center, what we could be offering that we're not currently offering. That's really what I'm hoping to gain out of having those meetings, and I'm hoping that people, as they get to know me a little bit better, feel more comfortable talking with me and feel like I'm a good resource for, whatever sort of services they might be looking for. That's it. Back to Linda. Unless there's any questions.
That's all?
That's all.
We did have a wonderful meeting this morning. We were treated to donuts that just look wonderful on our hips.
Where they
And they're very colorful too. Colorful, fresh, all of the above. And we heard and learned about a lot of upcoming programs that Kendra is going to be introducing to us. And of course, Kim is here with us today. She's been here since bright and early this morning. And I just would like people to know that this is a group of people who are together that support our seniors and people in the community, understand their needs, suggestions and ideas on how to meet those needs, and have a good time doing it. And I've had some medical issues, so I'm now back in the swing and happy to be, and looking forward to next Wednesday's birthday luncheon. And it'll be the usual delicious tossed salad made fresh in our kitchen right here, pizza, and birthday cake and ice cream perhaps, hoodsies. So we're back in the swing. And Patrick, I know you're leaving us, but you're always welcome here. No, I didn't mean it that way. We welcome Sean as our new liaison to the senior center. And Kim, did you have anything you would like to present to us?
No, I just wanted to chime in. So I think Kendra shared with you a lot of the things that the council is appropriately involved in. I just want to echo Bill's comments. It's been a great onboarding. There is a lot operationally that she has also really dug into. So I think we really look forward to reviewing, making some changes and transitions that I think will ultimately enable this department to better serve the seniors of Westborough. And I think we have been, to Kendra's point, that includes reaching out to other departments in town and trying to strengthen some of those relationships and identify new opportunities, but also to some of the other organizations and entities in the community who have expressed an interest in potentially partnering in some ways that might not yet be known. Other people have ideas. So it's been a great initial month, and I'm really looking forward to the next few months, working through the summer, and I think by the fall, really having a new kind of slate of programming and things really running full steam.
And I think we're all on board with that. Guido.
We've already actually discussed this a little earlier, but I think it would be worth it for the whole council. Tell us about the status of hiring Stephanie's replacement, what the process is and the schedule for that.
Yep, we're actively recruiting for the outreach case manager position. So that'll be something that hopefully in the coming weeks, we'll have enough candidates to commence the review, and interviews will commence, so.
It's been out already, the
Yep.
request.
Yep. It's posted.
And there's
One of my
also,
questions, but
there's also a bus driver position that's also
Yes.
posted.
Yep.
Short.
I do want to make a comment. It's great having the senior scene delivered like 2 weeks ahead of time. It was like awesome. and doing a great job. Kristen, thank you very much.
Yeah, the staff in the office has definitely made a big effort to get it to the printer as soon as possible, which just gets it to you guys sooner. And Kristen's done a really good job with
Because
getting
we're always
it.
getting questions when we're out in the public.
Yeah,
Why are we getting so late?
And I
Yeah.
think on top of that, even before it arrives and is distributed, it's up on the website immediately. So there's even additional opportunity for people to see it online.
It's just the majority like to see it. feel it.
We have a lot of people who actually do view it online. I think, yes, definitely
Yes,
both.
right.
Yes, so that's great. And I think particularly if people are trying to schedule and sign up for events, obviously the sooner you have it and can sign up, the better. So, yeah, it's been great. I think Kristen's done a fantastic job with that.
thank you.
And I would like to acknowledge Tammy, who comes in and puts them together and says.
Daisy.
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 Oh,
Daisy
Lord, I'm
Yes.
sorry.
Daisy is the gold standard of a volunteer. She's been really helpful my first month. She does it all. I don't know. You've run into her if you've come here a couple of times. She's
Yes.
pretty good.
Right. She works in the kitchen, helping to prepare meals. She's very willing to stay and clean up, put away, etc. And then just work in any other area where an extra set of hands are needed and appreciated.
Yes.
Of course, Chris McKenzie is back in Florida, so we have Chris available also to help with social functions and
Great.
so forth. So, I just feel
You feel good.
good. It's a great opportunity to bring sunshine and hope to seniors, particularly if they're battling health issues. And this is going to be our temporary home for a little bit longer. And the library is going to be downtown in the building, senior, the senior center, oh Lord,
Senior center area.
community center. Every word of my brain went running by. Community. Please forgive me, I have had some health issues and, but I'm on my way back up. And I look forward to,
I have one
yes.
question regarding planning director's report. We haven't had a budget report for a very long time. Is it possible to get like a quarterly report?
Yeah, that's something that I would be happy to report. I am hoping to meet with, if not this week, but next week, the finance director and be able to wrap my head around the current budget, but definitely starting July 1st, that's something that I would be happy to report. It wouldn't be the day-to-day operational. I don't know exactly what the budget report was before, but I'm happy to give some big picture context. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other things to come before our meeting today?
Just wanted to ask and make sure, we haven't met since before town meeting, and so you all know that town meeting did not bring up the senior center budget.
Right.
So we're not going forward for probably another year, maybe possibly in October, I suppose, but it's going to be a little bit longer, and they'll be deciding, I guess the selectmen and town managers will be deciding sometime in the next few months whether they're going to bring it up in October or wait till March. So it's going to be, we're going to be here a while longer, as Linda was just saying.
If I may, One of the items that was on the warrant for town meeting, that did not pass was funding through the capital plan. The request was to utilize free cash, for the pool repairs. Ultimately, we did not bring that forward because the amount that we had anticipated, just over $400,000, when we got the bids back, we only received one valid bid, and it was well above that amount. So similar to our approach with other projects, we expect that if we rebid it, it may have been a function of timing. If we rebid it and are able to get additional bids, we may get more favorable pricing. So I think we had mentioned that we were carving out the pool repairs from the larger construction project. And so just so you're all aware, at this point, that funding was not, we passed over that article, and that funding was, we'll potentially revisit that in the fall at the October meeting.
And if I could just, that is something that a lot of older adults in Westborough have been asking me about. It seems like there is some interest in some sort of water aerobics fitness programs. I have heard a lot of feedback about that.
Yes, please.
Well, the one other thing at town meeting, at the very front in the town manager report, it was pointed out that there were, I think, an increase in hours for our program director were removed from the budget as part of the overall process of reducing the tax burden for this year. It was
No.
listed in one of the right
We
up
actually
front.
increased Mary Ellen's hours.
But it said it was removed, is what it said in the report that was on the town meeting floor.
No, it
No.
was voted to increase her
It was
hours.
included in
I think
the,
she went from 32 to,
It would have been 24 to
Or that-
36,
she's
I
at,
think.
no, she's at 25 and she's going to 30. The increase was maintained.
And it was maintained?
Yes.
Okay. I take it back, but I
Yeah.
know the report did say that that was one of the items that was dropped initially, so it got
I
put
think that
back.
what was dropped was the substitute bus driver. That
Yeah.
was the
That was-
staffing position that we saw the loss in.
Good, 'cause I was
And-
gonna ask you to reconsider that
No.
in light of the pool.
Well, they're separate funding sources entirely. But just a note on the line that was reduced was around the substitute van driver hours. The budget always carried, there is the permanent part-time van driver positions, and then there's an additional line for 19 hours a week of substitute. I'm not sure that it was 19 hours. In theory, that substitute van driver funding would come from one of those other drivers not working their 19 hours during the week. So you didn't need that extra line to cover. With a 19-hour-a-week position, those are not benefit eligible. You get paid for the hours that you work. So let's say one of the drivers is on vacation for a week. They're not driving. That 19 hours that was budgeted for them would be the money that would be used for the substitute. So in effect, we didn't need that extra substitute line. And then we do carry additional funds for things that come up, like some of the events that might happen off hours or things like that. So there is a separate line that covers a smaller amount for additional, but it was the substitute van driver line that was removed from the budget.
And we also did discuss this morning, more of a guideline of you can and you cannot expect this or that. And one of the main things is bus drivers are not to get off the bus, if I've got this correctly, to carry in groceries or anything else. They're on the bus. If they notice that somebody needs extra help, then appropriate action will be taken to have a family or somebody accompany that person that needs help getting on and off the bus. The only reason the bus driver would get off the bus would be to activate the
The wheelchair.
wheelchair lift.
Yeah, so that's always been the policy, and I think that there was a little bit of a straying from the policy out of, I think, the absolute kindness of the bus drivers' hearts. I think it was very well intentioned, but there's just a lot of liability issues that opens the senior center in the town up to when that is something that is being continued. So with that would also, we are, and I guess we can go into it a little bit more next month, but we're also looking at the volunteer driver program that we offer to bring people to medical appointments. And that is a volunteer using their own private vehicle to transport people to medical appointments. That's not really something that at this time we feel very comfortable with. And so one of the potential solutions is maybe reviewing the people that are driving, seeing if they would be willing to ride the bus with folks who might need some additional assistance, and in volunteering that way as opposed to the way that it's currently being done.
I'm one of those drivers, but the difference being that when I drove somebody, I dropped them off and they had someone else picking them up. To ride the bus, you'd be gone a lot longer. You'd
Yeah.
have to wait for the bus to pick them up again, which I would not be able to do. I
Yeah.
don't know about the other volunteer drivers.
It would just be something that we would be exploring, and we also do get fairly frequent inquiries of people who are looking to volunteer, and that would just be an additional job. It would definitely take some more time, but Westborough, frankly, is the only town that I know of that still offers a program like that. That was common practice in the 80s and maybe the 90s, but after that people got really concerned with liability issues, and there was a shift. So I think just it opens us up to a whole host of issues that I don't think that we're equipped to deal with.
Are the drivers allowed to bring a walker, get out to bring the walker up? Or
Yes, so
whatever?
anything that has to do with someone that has a mobility aid being secured into the van, that would be an appropriate use of the driver's time, but it would still be that curb to curb service where the person would have to get either to like the end of their driveway or the front of their house, wherever the safe pickup point is, on their own. And that is just for the safety of those people that are already on the bus, the safety of the bus driver, and for the well-being of the person.
Would that be something that would qualify as a senior tax write-off, maybe?
We would definitely have to look into it, but if there was enough open jobs and we were looking for placements, I think it would be an appropriate use of one of those positions.
Great.
Kendra, a different question to go back to your thing in the beginning. You know when you might be going to the Willows?
I don't, so I reached out to the Willows, but I got an automated email back, so I think I'm waiting for it to get to a real human
Do you
being.
have a name that you were using?
It was like a general contact, but if you have a person that I should reach out to, if you wanna give me their email or their phone number, I'd be happy to reach out at some time.
The Willows does have its own bus.
Right.
Yes.
And
I actually believe the Highlands does as well.
yes, absolutely. Indeed.
Kendra, there's 108 volunteer hours. Does that include like Meals on Wheels hours for those drivers?
No, so technically the Meals on Wheels they're volunteering for Springwell. So they're not tracked through our system, they would be volunteering through the organization that oversees the Meals on Wheels.
And our caregiver meal drivers, that would not be included either, or?
No, so the 108 hours is people that are coming here to sign in, so if those drivers are not coming to sign in, then they wouldn't be counted.
Are there any other questions or concerns that you would like to bring before the council?
Question for Kim. I remember the pool being passed because we needed more bids. Do you know, the pool repairs, do you know when those bids are going to be requested? Is that going to, you think, get pushed off till next year?
We discussed potentially doing it for the fall. I think we'll have further conversation with the architect because the One of the benefits, given that the pool is indoors, a lot of the firms, and there are a few firms, is what I was told, that do the type of work that we needed done. They had their work lined up for the summer because outdoor pools can only be done when the weather. The benefit for us, they could potentially do the work on our pool when they don't have other jobs lined up. So that could be in our favor from both a cost standpoint and a scheduling standpoint. So that was the interest in potentially bringing it back for October town meeting.
Okay.
Was they might not have other work, they'd be looking for work to do over the winter, and given our situation being an indoor pool,
That'd be perfect.
so.
And I don't recall where we left the units that needed to be repaired on the roof of the community center. Did we pass on that too? I don't recall.
No, the ones that are exclusive of the specific HVAC units for the pool. So there are some that were really tied to the space where the pool is.
Mhm.
And those were going to be done specifically with the pool.
Okay,
Those were not approved because they got bundled with the pool work.
okay.
The rest of the units were funded.
They were funded.
Yeah,
Okay.
and that's, again, to take advantage of incentives that are available. So significant, I think about $500,000. There's, if I recall correctly, it's around 700,000 that, with about $500,000 of that coming back to us, but we have to pay up front. Then we are granted, we receive the incentives, and then that money goes back to free cash.
Okay.
Yep.
So that'll be done, you think?
I don't know the timeline for the work,
Okay.
but I think the anticipation was it would get started soon.
Good.
Yep.
I had one.
Yes, please.
If we could go back to the transportation, the democracy. I know that then nothing is set in stone or anything, but how would that affect scheduling?
So, the biggest difference that the regular user of transportation would find is that instead of calling the senior center to book their ride, they would be calling the WRTA directly. The WRTA has 2 contracted employees that work full-time scheduling the rides for the senior center buses. So with that comes a lot of expertise that we don't have in the office as far as traffic patterns and timing. And they're also able to utilize drivers from other communities and vice versa. So if there's a convenient ride from Worcester back to Shrewsbury and there's a Westborough driver that is not operating, they would be able to take that Shrewsbury person. But in exchange, a Westborough person who needs a ride and a Shrewsbury driver being available would be able to take that Westborough person home, which limits the amount of time people are waiting at the end of their appointments. But there shouldn't be a lot of change in the average, service. It's relatively the same, except
So that
for.
will free up time.
Yeah, so one of the biggest selling points for this, at least for me, is that it would really give, especially Kristen, the chance to do her job, as opposed to being on the phone for 70% of the day, whether it's someone calling to schedule a ride, someone calling to cancel a ride, someone needing the bus driver, calling the bus driver, all of that would be communicated from the WRTA.
Where would they be located? Where would the vehicles and the bus drivers?
So they would have to be located here because the director would have to, or in my absence, there would be another town employee who's named, would just have to do a quick visual assessment every morning to make sure that the driver appears physically fit for duty. And that just means that there's no signs of alcohol or drug use or some sort of medical impairment. It would just have to be a quick, like, okay, you look like you're ready to hit the road. So the vans would be parked here.
So what happens to our vans we have now?
Nothing has been worked out yet, but there is definitely, we are planning to keep at least 1, if not 2 of the vehicles. And I think we would just go through how the vehicles are used, the age of the vehicles, as well as we do have the big van that you need a CDL to drive, and it's much more expensive to hire CDL certified drivers. I would just take all of that into account and see what we would get the most use out of. The good thing would be we would be able to maintain one or two of those vehicles to do some more specialized trips. And that would be like a pickup here to go to the movies or to do some sort of local coordinated program. That would give us a little bit more flexibility because that driver wouldn't need to be picking up people. They would have the day to do, you know, whatever we planned.
So that would include like some of Tammy's outreach programs that
Yes,
she
yeah.
just did a week or two ago? for
Yeah, it would be.
Shopping in a restaurant?
It would be, I would definitely say that we would want to maintain those programs, but also open us up to some more options. I have heard a lot that people would like to do like a museum trip or a day trip somewhere, and it would just give us the flexibility to not be relying on those vehicles and to have a little bit more of an ability to use it how we want as opposed to how it's needed.
Is that would be with one of our own vehicles, then you're saying?
Yes, right. We would, I think, keep one or two of our own vehicles and have to do an assessment on which vehicles those are and which one we find we are good to get rid of.
Again, the intent is to come back at your next meeting with some more of this idea. Part of the challenge, the WRTA approached the town based on a broader transportation study that the town was involved in and offered up this model that they've successfully run in other communities for years and years. Our challenge was at that time, we didn't have a director and we wanted to wait until Kendra was here to have the more in-depth conversation, specifically because Kendra comes from communities that have used this model, as have I, and have seen it very successfully used. So it was one of the, I think the second day you were here, I had already scheduled a meeting with the WRTA. So while it might seem like we're going at warp speed, it was the challenge of we wanted Kendra's input, and this has been offered up to us as available July 1st. So we're trying to see if we can get everything in place and if it makes sense. That's why our interest is May 2nd, your May 12th meeting, coming back with something that has more detail around it.
And that'll give us some, you happen to have a meeting right before a selectmen's meeting, so we'll be able to bring it forward to the Council on Aging and then the following day bring it forward to the select board.
Kim, we've had vehicles donated to the senior center over the years. And we just had one recently. Did we have a new bus within the past year? Donated by the state.
No.
Do we don't lose that, we don't lose those, do we?
We haven't figured out exactly what would happen to the current fleet. That's something we're working through. So there may or may not be a need to retain, right now there are 3 vehicles, and they're at different ages, so they're still working.
Which is, I know we have at least one that's maybe less than a year old.
Right.
So maybe that could be used for maybe these other special museum
Yep,
trips. Or
and that's what we're all trying to get those new ones.
Like to maintain the ones that are still usable, that were donated by estates.
They weren't donated, the town purchased all of the ones that we have today were purchased by the town.
But I know we've had some specifically donated to the senior center.
Funds were donated
funds,
for the
yes.
purpose of buying the bus.
Right, okay.
Yes.
So that's,
Yeah.
but they were
I didn't want
purchased
to
by the
lose
town.
that in the
Right.
essence of it.
No, but again, that's a
Yeah.
significant detail that's still being worked out,
Okay.
is how would we transition what we currently do.
But state funds, the one that I'm the most familiar with, was specific to the purchasing of the bus. And when we got together earlier today, I did ask Kim, have we spent all that money? And Kim is aware and will get back to us with the status.
Of this.
It took us a long time between the time that monies were given and we were allowed to spend it. So
it's kind of still fresh in the memories of some of us that lived through that. But any other comments, questions, suggestions, ideas? Patrick, I would very much like to thank you for all of the time that you were here with us and your beautiful wife. And I hope
Too
you
kind.
know that Sean is now your,
Oh, he's gonna do a great job.
right, so you can,
Well, and Shelby did a great job before Sean, so.
absolutely, absolutely. Shelby also, and it's wonderful to know that we have the ability to ask for your expertise on issues, and it's the same with Kim. She's been a real trooper through all of this, and certainly wouldn't have been a job I would have wanted to have. But we did go to different senior centers and visited with them and so forth, and came back here to make our contributions to our senior center. So Sean, that being said, we certainly welcome you on board. And Mr. Linnane?
It's an older guy, I don't know.
Okay.
I am not
Good-looking guy in the middle.
good graces because I heard he has moved into Walker Meadows, and trying to welcome him, I went up to him and I said, "Are you Bill Linnane?" And he said, "Never heard of him."
And that's why you still never have.
Some things don't change, there's a lot of people that'll tell you.
We want to do a special shout out to Kim through all of her hard work and patience and getting through all the interview process, keeping us coordinated. I know it's an overwhelming job, so we appreciate it.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, thank you for everybody's participation.
And
And I'm not going away. You're hoping that I might be?
No, I'm saying for that reason, no.
I'd
Thank you.
just like to add that the minutes were not only complete, but very, very thorough and accurate, so.
Thank you.
Last month, thank you.
Just one quick comment before we adjourn. I really like this format.
Okay.
It really gives us a lot of information about what's going on. It's good.
Thank
And
you.
we ought to
Continue.
acknowledge Kristen.
Oh, Kristen.
Baptism by fire.
She came back.
Started to change. And to Diane Collins, who has been a trooper also. When they asked the question, would somebody like to take the minutes, I think we all decided we wanted to. I was angry about this.
Winner, winner.
And Diane, has done a wonderful job, and we thank you for that. And Kristen, we love you. Absolutely.
Motion to adjourn?
Second.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.